Get any, but let's see. Hello and welcome. Is anybody there? Are you on YouTube? You're checking live? All right. Just waiting to see if anybody can confirm if you're live. Yeah, looks like we're live. Hello and welcome to the Cow Corner Dugout. My name is Nirav. Today we have with us Karthik and Sahil, and we've got an exciting. Well, is it exciting game? Was it exciting enough for you guys? India versus USA, the first of our games for this World Cup, but the third of the
at
day.
at 46 for 4, I was like, wow, what have we really got here? Because I knew someday this doomsday will come where Abhishek Sharma gets out. Now your other opener, Ishan Kishan, who's been doing well. And then suddenly we were 4 down, right? I started the day thinking, will Pakistan be the team to be knocked out of the World Cup within the first 3 hours of the World Cup because they agreed not to play India? And here we are in a situation where Pakistan's won and India is in this quandary. So it was actually, I think it was a exciting game, at least till the 12th, 13th over of the second innings. I think USA put a great fight on.
Well, India versus USA on paper looked like a what? How do you call it? A comfortable Sunday drive, but it turned out to be peak Bangalore traffic with peak Bombay monsoons, right? That kind of a game. It had its. I mean, honestly, with 6 overs to go, I think that was the time when, after which Akshar took 2 wickets back to back. I think till that time, I think it was touch and go, right, Sahil? In fact, I would say one dropped catch either way. Like even whether it was in our innings or their innings, one drop catch could have swung the match, or take or
Uh,
not.
yeah, I mean, just from the start, when we look at the how the game started, I think US really were there to compete. In terms of the way the field placement, especially to Abhishek Sharma, when he stepped out and they already had a deep point in place, and just the kind of efforts they were putting in the field, they were throwing their bodies around, and even the first 4 or 5 balls to Ishan Kishan that Netravalkar bowled were fantastic. It reminded me somewhat of Zahir Khan, with bringing a few in and taking the few out in the first over itself. So definitely they had their done their homework, and surely it looked like they came prepared. And yes, up till that Akshar Patel over, it did look like, although those first couple of wickets really helped India's cause, I would say, because they didn't really get going in the power play. I suppose that if they had gotten 50, 60 quick runs in the power play, the game would have been much closer than it ended up to be.
Okay. Um, Bringing up our first comment.
Shashank saying, but India losing would have meant nothing. Sure, you still have three other games. Um and the Pakistan walkover. Is that confirmed yet? They could still go back on that, right? So, but but yes, thanks, Shashank. Shashank's down with cold. Otherwise, he'd have also joined us as part of our team. But I think it's just that you're not used to this rude awakening in this World Cup. And and when I look at this whole throwback trend, right, 2026, 2016, the kind of wickets we had in 2016, where 220 were chased, and you had scores like 190, 200. Today, at least, the way Wankhede has started has been very, very different. And yeah, I kind of never expected that India would have such an off day. I know we recently did have a couple of these off days against Australia at MCG in a T20 recently, and even I think the other game that we lost versus New Zealand was in a chase. So that way, I think this was a script I never thought we were getting to. But I think USA did really well to get Indian wickets, restrict us also.
Um, what went wrong with our batting? Was it cockiness, or was it a? I didn't seem like a wicket which had demons in it. They were all shots which didn't clear the boundary, right? I mean, a lot of them.
Yeah, I think the at least from what I saw, Sahil can speak on what he saw. The sense was this looked like a track where see both the sides have played. It certainly wasn't the usual belters where you get like 200 runs, in the track. Maybe instead of India getting 160, it was probably a 180 track if you had wickets in hand and if you had your top order that was firing. But I just saw it as India losing wickets, just like the way England would play T20, where if you're quiet for 4 5 balls, that anxiety gets to you, and as a result, you end up committing an unforced error, and as a result, you lose your wicket. So I think India lost too many wickets too early, so they had to preserve their wickets till the end, and then Surya Kumar Yadav played that. His second half of his innings, there was a cameo where he was able to catch up. So while India scored 160, I still think this was a 180 kind of a track, not a very free flowing track where you would get 200 or 220. But what did you think about it, Sahil?
Yeah, I suppose that it was not a typical Wankhede pitch where the ball just flies as soon as it hits the bat, and we were a little complacent because playing US as your first game and not really being challenged up till now, whether it been in the bilaterals or whether it been in the warm up. I think everyone was a little complacent as far as our batting is concerned, and also I think the fact that Surya does play for Mumbai Indians and he knows this ground better than anyone else. So I think he obviously in those last 2 overs, it didn't look like the pitch had any sort of demons for that matter. But the way he played in those last 2 overs, I was actually worried. As I was happy seeing the runs being scored, I was like, okay, this pitch is not that bad. The runs can be scored on this pitch. But yeah, I would say that we were a little complacent, and the slower balls were really, getting held up in the pitch, especially the Dubey dismissal. It just looped onto the bat, and I thought that yeah, it was turning as well. So I thought once we got 150, 160, I was like, yeah, India is in the game, and with the quality of our bowlers, we should be able to defend this.
It was for USA. It was 70 odd needed in 7 overs, if I'm not wrong. I think it was about 10
70 of the
runs in
last six. 70 of
last
the
six.
last six.
I didn't. I mean, given the way Surya finished, I thought the game was on for a pedigreed nation. Like I think any other, is it fair to say that USA, because of their lack of exposure to playing high pressure situations in front of big crowds, is what failed them? Because I don't think there was an issue of talent, because I've seen Shubham Ranjane in the SA20 comfortably chase those runs. Like he's scored a few knocks where, so there's no lack of pedigree individually, but is it a lack of as a nation not playing high situation, high pressure matches?
See, interestingly, while I said this might have been a 180 track because India scored 160, Surya has just come on TV and said that this was a 140 track. So he feels India had scored 20 runs above par. So for a wicket, it's fairly tough to bat, especially where the ball is not coming onto the bat. I think when you've seen Shubham Ranjane in SA T20, maybe it was a slightly flatter wicket.
Yeah, it
You're
was
able
all
to go through with your shots. Here
flat
you'll have to
wickets and
curb
ball flies.
ball flies. So here, this is like the antithesis of T20, where you need to basically wait for the ball, see where it is, and you basically can't have your normal flow of batting. And as a result, US, they paced their innings pretty well, despite being 17 for 3 at one point. I like the way their middle order decided to go on. I think they were close to about 80 for 3, and after which those two wickets happened with Akshar Patel in the 15th over or the 14th over. But I think that way, all they probably lacked was this whole thing about have they played on wickets that are similarly tricky and against a high quality opposition. They might have played on tricky wickets, but not against a high quality opposition, not in a high pressure situation like a cauldron of Wankhede. So I think that is a part of your answer, but not the complete part. In the sense that yes, this is probably their first big high pressure game where there are so many people coming in, but these are really tricky wickets to also bat on.
Okay,
Also, the fact that I think there was no dew that came today in the match, that also played a lot in our favor. I mean, again, if they had scored 50, 60 runs in the power play, then you would have looked at 100 runs in the next 15 overs. And with no Bumrah and Dew being there, it could have been tricky as well. And I suppose that they targeted Aksar at the wrong time at the latter half of the innings. India still had to bowl Hardik as the next 2 overs, and probably Dubey if not Hardik. So I think they could have planned it better. But yeah, I think I second on the opinion that they have not played against this quality of opposition, against this many people watching at the same time. So that does play a factor according to me.
So I think, okay, let's plane it around. Did India get under serious pressure? And the 40 odd for four, and from there comes the question, which is coming again from excursion underscore insights. What's your take? You guys have top order batting order. Shouldn't they have been more mindful after losing the opening duo? Um, okay, so I'll just qualify that question. Abhishek Sharma, first ball happens. Ishan seemed a little off color today. Is that a fair um, body language wise? Just, I think, I don't know. He didn't seem to be going into second gear, third gear like he normally does. But once he got out, so that comes back to this question: didn't numbers three and four and five need to kind of just rein it in? And definitely
Right.
number six will not be.
I think once the ball is not coming onto the bat, right? Because India have this batting template, and this is where they risk being similar to England, where they only have this one question paper approach of trying to be aggressive. I know that's part of their core identity, or in T20s. But on wickets that aren't very helpful, what happens is it takes time for a batter to get used to the pace of the wicket. And these are those kind of wickets where I think Ishan and Tilak both played 15, 16 balls each. And it's just unfortunate that both of them got out in the same over. And as a result, the ones who came after, which is Shivam Dubey and Rinku Singh, they basically had no way to uh, draw momentum also into the innings. So they also tried to. They weren't used to the wicket at all. So I think if one of them had played a little more sensibly and played out some, this was the kind of wicket where a Tilak Verma's innings, where you play out balls and then like the way Surya played towards the end, would have been ideal. But because India decided to attack, they ended up losing a lot more wickets. And in the case of, by the time Rinku Singh came, Rinku wasn't really looking to attack. 6 or 14 balls, no boundaries, no real attempts to hit. I think he was trying to do that, but at some point when you're trying to break free, you then get out. So I think India has got a good reality check that if they get a very mild surface, which is not going to be as easy as to bat on, how do they pace their approach, or what can they do? Today was probably a little dress rehearsal for that. Thank God it didn't really cost them much. They were able to come back, and that's the sign of a champion quality side. That despite you being pulled back, you are able to find the right gears to step on, especially towards the end of an innings. So it showed what an astute leader somebody like Surya Kumar Yadav is. Of course, his experience playing in Wankhede comes. And I've seen Surya play a similar knock where India were under trouble in the 2022 World Cup, where he played against the South African team at Perth, if I remember. And India, I think he had a similar knock even in those circumstances. So in my mind, I was just thinking which of these Surya knocks were better. But yes, I think the batters, going back to the question, the batters could have actually played themselves in, and have because the top, because somebody like Ishan Kishan and Tilak Verma having played so many balls out, they did realize that this is not going to be a normal Wankhede surface. So I think they could have played differently to the needs.
Yeah, I think even as far as Abhishek Sharma getting out on zero, I think it's getting a little bit too, consistent for comfort, to be honest. We are used to seeing Sanju Samson getting out in that fashion, scoring a zero or scoring 100. But I think he got recently out in New Zealand series as well on a zero. And today also stepping out on the first ball. It's got a strange, uh, you can say, a habit almost that he steps out and he tries to slash the ball. I mean, quality oppositions will take notice of that he has a particular way of doing things, especially in the first few balls. So yeah, I would say that someone like Ishan Kishan tried his best. He took some balls and he did not throw his wicket away, but eventually he had to go for it because that's his role in the team. But apart from that, I think yes, India were truly tested, and that's also a sign of the quality of the team, that we have almost like all of the eight batters that bat, they are all match winners in their own respect. So even if one of them tees off, you have a decent total on most days, and that's, I think, today was one of those days. So yeah, I think they were in pressure, but yeah, even one batter coming off can win us games, and today was an example.
I think Shashank is saying
Come,
he was the only one who buckled down. I think he's
yeah.
referring to either Ishan Kishan
To
or
no no to Sky,
Tuska.
because I
Okay.
wanted to bring his key point in here. I'll just come to that. The thing with what you said about Abhishek, as Indian fans, when he does well, we praise him, and then when he doesn't, it's an approach which will have the troughs and the crests, right? I mean, there will not be consistency in it, and I think that's something we have prepared our openers for, whether it was Sanju, whether it was Abhishek, or now Ishan. Kid, I think they have that license to go for it, and if it comes off, great. If it doesn't, there are seven other batsmen or six other batsmen to kind of to manage on days like this, especially, right? And I think that's what happens with Indian fans, and Surya's oft repeated quote that um, I am not out of form, I'm out of runs. So on that note, Shashank also has mentioned that he can pick out at least 100 people on his timeline who wanted Sky sacked when he couldn't buy a run, and here they are with a 180 U-turn. And I think, as a fan, somewhere in the match, during the match, because when we decided to do this podcast, I was, I'd like to say I always believed, but I have to be honest that I was trying to figure out what are the positives to take, apart from the fact that we don't really need these 2 points, given the nature of the tournament. But that's how we are, right? As fans, we're extremely volatile with the expectations of our stars. And so I wanted to, I think, go to discussing Sky's innings. So you want to go for it first, Sahil?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the innings was, I think, in two halves. It won't be wrong to say that because the first 10 or 12 overs when Sky was there, he played a very different kind of a innings where he was very careful and just knocking it around for a single and a two or maybe a boundary here and there. But in the last 2 or 3 overs, we saw the Sky. We all know him for. And I think, as I said, like he is one person along with Tilak Verma in the team who is very well versed with these conditions of Wankhede and playing on these red soil pitches. They know this pitch inside out. So I think he would have been the first of those people who would have reckoned that this is a 140 150 pitch and we have to go in a certain way on this ground, and he did not really attempt those high shots or risky shots. He just played to his strengths, and when he connected really well. And I know that the score of 80 odd in a World Cup has come against US, but I think many people like the comment that came about him being sacked. The problem people have had with Sky, he has not performed in ICC tournaments in a high pressure game. I would not say this was like the ultimate high pressure, but definitely there was some pressure out there. Being You don't have to forget that this is his first World Cup as a captain, right? And it means a lot to him, I'm sure. So there were certain dimensions that he would know better as a player that we as fans sometimes don't recognize. So I think this was a high pressure knock, and this coming at the first day of the World Cup, I think it would be something that looking forward to his form in the coming days.
Okay. I don't think I personally don't have many other talking points I need to go through with you guys. But I think there is one point which deserves at least an opinion thrown in. So the man who got a double promotion from outside the 15 into the playing 11, um, overnight almost, is was it a good idea, or should we have gone with another spinner?
I mean, he was able to come back and come back. I mean, he had no clue that he was going to be, inside the squad. And with this injury that's come as late as this, uh, I think he did extremely well. Where he had an immediate impact, was able to take 3 wickets, dismiss their captain Monang Patel. And I think that way Mohammad Siraj has this lion heart, this thing to come back, and it was so nice to see him because I think the last time he played a T20 for India was in 2024 versus Sri Lanka, I guess. So it is good that Siraj was able to come back and also prove his worth. But again, if we had gone with another spinner, the given the way the team played out, Akshar Patel and Varun Chakravarti. Would the match have got over earlier? It's a good fodder for debate, but I think I'm just generally very happy with the way Siraj's come in and been able to go put that performance.
Yeah, and I also think that he's a real rhythm guy. I always associate Siraj now after that England tour with that last ball, which was his fastest of the entire tour after bowled for 5 Test matches. And today he looked in rhythm. And I was just discussing with a friend that when he looks in rhythm, he can really win the match upon by himself. So he looked really good tonight. And it was good to see the Wankhede crowd getting behind him after getting smashed for a six on the second ball, I think it was. And then yeah, he was really looking in rhythm, and I think it was the right pick because he has always been a big heart player for India. So yeah, looking forward to him bowling in the World Cup whenever needed.
Okay. Final thoughts on the other games today, Karthik? Any? Did you spend much time watching them? Did the other two games?
Yeah, I mean, the Pakistan Netherlands game was such a close game, and interestingly, it was
It
played at
became
the.
close. It became close,
It
right? I
became
mean,
close because I think Pakistan were going on well when Salman Ali Agha was batting, and then that one wicket of his as the third wicket, and then they just collapsed 84 for three, 84 for two to about 98 for five, and I think till those last 3 overs, like 2 overs, they required 29. I was thinking that this was
yeah,
very
this was
similar to the
upsetting.
game that Pakistan played at WACA in 2022, and they lost to Zimbabwe. So it looked like they were just collapsing and they were, having a lot of pressure. But yeah, sometimes one or two slot balls, and then Fahim Ashraf was able to hit it for six, despite it being a slower one. But yes, I think Pakistan's middle order vulnerability against spin is showing. Uh, Mike Hessen's, transformation is really at the top. The top three are playing the way Mike Hessen want to. But when I'm seeing their middle order, I still don't think they've got that game against spin on wickets that aren't going to be completely flat. That's probably the observation that I had. Fahim Ashraf just bailed them out of what would have been like. It would have been like not a great start for Pakistani fans if they had lost. I know the tournament allows teams to come back, but yes, to their confidence, it would not have done. It wouldn't have done their done their the world of good.
I
I was
would like
also
to add
feeling,
one point in that India Pakistan entire fiasco that is happening about the boycott and all. And I was discussing with a friend just that how the situation is at square one when they say that they're not going to play India, and then when they were almost about to lose to Netherlands, and I was like, you know what, if they lose, they are actually going to want to play this match because they're going to be eliminated if they don't. And after the almost near the first innings, I was like, okay, they want to play now surely because they want to eliminate India by defeating us on the 15th. And at the end of the day, we are back to square one with both teams having won their first games, and we still don't know what's going to happen on the 15th. So it was kind of funny how things change in a quick span of time.
hmm. All right. I think we have to wrap up today early because Karthik has to be somewhere else, specifically another game tomorrow
Yeah,
at Chidambaram
at
Stadium.
Chennai, at Chepauk, and I have a bus in 20 minutes to go, so I need to push off.
Right. So thank you, whoever's been watching us. Thank you for joining us on an exciting first day of the World Cup. Two close encounters. I think the other one was a reasonable,
So
reasonably
the
in
second
favor
game
of
was
West
actually
Indies.
close until that hat trick happened because they
Yeah.
were going at the required run rate, and Scotland was actually matching West Indies because West Indies also picked up steam. Shimron Itman picked up steam in the ninth or 10th over, and I think Scotland did well in that chase. Unfortunately, just when they were looking good, that hat trick came by from Romario Shepherd, and that just cut the chase out.
Yeah. So an exciting day, which is now to an end. A nation which has 1,000 or 1 billion selectors was taken to the last nerve by a nation where most of the people believe LBW is just a sandwich. So good night. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back with the dugout again tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Thank you
Yep.
for being
See
here.
you, everyone. Good
And good luck
night.
with the match tomorrow, Karthik. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.